for those of us in this country as we celebrate Memorial Day and honor and give thanks for all those that have given everything so that you and I could be here and worship in the way that we desire. So rather than a prelude this morning, I would ask you to take a few moments and to think about those that have given so much for us as we have a Memorial Day tribute. Morning. I've watched these slides probably 2 or 3 dozen times as I put them together. It is still an emotional moment for me to go through them. Here, he is on vacation. He and Leanne are at Lookout Mountain, and I found out, I guess, the cloud cover is not so low where they can actually look out from Lookout Mountain, which is nice. And I heard in between services they have found a local vineyard. So things must be going well. I would like to invite now our parish nurse, Beth Ewing, to give us some words on a new initiative here called Bridges of Hope.
Good morning. I'm here to share some really great news with you. Pastor Craig mentioned this a week or so ago, but I wanted to fill you in on the details. Abiding Christ was awarded a $10,000 mental health ministry grant from the ELCA. We're going to partner with NAMI, which is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. You may know them. They're just down the street here. They have offices not even a quarter of a mile from us. Our project will address our community's struggle with the lack of awareness and support for those living with mental illness and disability. That deficit of knowledge and understanding has led to a lack of resources in the community to support families and people living with mental illness and disability. That lack of resources has also led to a problem, as you're well aware, of increased substance abuse in our community and the surrounding community. The project will address the full scope of mental health issues. It includes anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, suicide prevention, as well as PTSD and other mental illness and disability. We have two goals in our project. The first one is to increase awareness, acceptance, and support of those living with mental illness by providing education and resources to the schools and civic organizations in our community. We're going to do that in three ways. We're going to provide suicide prevention training for the schools and mental health first aid training for civic organizations. And we're also going to sponsor 4 Fairborn School District students to a youth-to-youth international training. And what that does is it prepares leaders in the schools to go back to the schools and develop relationships with their fellow students to prevent substance abuse and suicide. The second goal of our program is to increase opportunities for people with mental illness and disability to participate in healthy physical and mental activities. And we're going to do that in 2 ways. We're going to partner with We Care Arts, and we're going to offer art classes here at Abiding Christ for people with mental illness and disability. And the second way is we're going to offer yoga classes here at Abiding Christ. And those are taught by an instructor who has specialized training in teaching and leading people with mental illness and disability. So our inaugural event for kicking off the award of our grant is this coming Sunday, and it's the Bridges of Hope class. This is a class that's taught by a NAMI instructor, and the whole goal of this class is to increase our knowledge about mental illness so we can create a stronger safety net and be a more welcoming faith community to people living with mental illness. So the good news part of this also is that next Sunday, if you want to come, we're going to serve lunch. And I know that is a popular item for people in the Lutheran churches. So please come, sign up on the pads. It's an hour. It will be a nice sharing time with the instructor, and then afterwards we will open the floor to questions and comments if you want to share. Also, if you're interested and want to learn more about the grant or volunteer to help with any of these efforts, please see me, and we would welcome your interest and opportunity. Thank you.
I should have said this in early service, but I didn't do it. The only reason Abiding Christ was awarded this grant was due to the hard work of Beth Ewing. For months, she worked on this. And she knows this community, she knows Fairborn, and she literally spent 6 months researching and writing this grant. $10,000, people. This is a big deal.
Thank you, Beth. I would ask our ushers to please pass out the attendance pads and the sign-up pads. As you can see, we are hosting Interfaith Hospitality Network the week of 9th through the 15th of June. We need people to host, and we also need food donations. So if you can, please sign up on the dry erase board in the welcome area. We have a number of services for those with young children, nursing mothers. If you have need of those services, please talk to the ushers, and they can direct you to the appropriate place for that. A couple other things before we have our prayer concerns. Today we have 2 baptisms, Miles Davino Magyar and Margot Louise Turner, and we look forward to welcoming them into our community of faith. You will see on your sign-up pads that this Saturday we're moving Pastor June in. So anybody that can help move furniture, please show up and give us some help. And finally, it won't be very far away that we'll be starting our summer camp for our theater group, doing Beauty and the Beast. A lot of young kids, you know, all like food, but the kids like food even more. So if you have an opportunity to bring some food items to help with that, that would certainly be appreciated. For our prayer concerns, I just have one. Agnes Hamilton's husband, Jim, is really having some severe problems undergoing rehab. He is not available for visitors, but he is not doing as well as they had hoped, so I'd ask you to lift him up and lift Agnes up in your prayers. And finally, before we get started on our service, as most of you know, I think, this is my last Sunday as your stated supply pastor. Pastor June shows up in next week, and I just wanted to say, some people have asked me, what are you going to do? Are you going to retire? Are you going away? Well, no. You know what they say is old pastors never retire, they just run out of sermons. Well, I have not run out of sermons yet, so I'll probably be doing some supply preaching in the greater Dayton area. And when I'm not doing that, I will go to my unofficially assigned seat in the third row at the second service with my family and my 18-month-old grandson who likes to entertain the next 2 rows back every Sunday. So it has been a privilege for me to be with you this past year in leading worship and in preaching and administering the sacrament, and I will tell you I will miss it.